Hi everyone, this is Siva, and today I am going to present the attack on Sony Pictures Entertainment in 2014. The Sony Pictures Entertainment was hacked and crippled in November of 2014 by a group named the Guardians of Peace. Their intent was to stop the release of the film The Interview, which was a comedy plot to assassinate Kim Jong Un, the leader of North Korea. The group then released a series of important documents they acquired to the internet, and Sony finally had to pull out the movie from a theater release. Now, when we look at the timeline of the attack, the Pyongyang government, the largest and the capital of North Korea, openly claimed that the movie The Interview as undisguised sponsoring of terrorism as well as an act of war in a letter to the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. There wasn't much happening between then and the actual day of the attack, the November 24th. When the staff of Sony booted their systems on November 24th, they only saw an image of a red skull and the words "hacked by GOP". It even contained links to compromised Sony servers. Data leaks started on the 27th of November, with the hackers releasing 5 movies, 4 of which were unreleased at that time. The FBI was called to investigate on the 1st of December. More data was leaked to the internet and Sony was forced to pull out the movie on the 17th of December. However, the film was released digitally and grossed around $31 million. The hackers contacted Sony on the 19th of December to let them know that the attacks and data leaks will stop as long as the film was kept out of a theater release. Moving on to the victims of this attack. The biggest force to be victimized was the employees of Sony and their families. Their names, addresses, social security numbers, financial documents were leaked to the public, placing them in potential risk of identity theft. Sony even sent out a data breach notification letter to their current and former employees, confirming that the personal data of its staff has been compromised by unauthorized personnel. The co-chairwoman of Sony, Amy Pascal, might be the one most single prominent figure to be hit hard. Her whole mailbox was leaked to the internet, which contained many personal emails negatively portraying other famous figures such as Angelina Jolie and the former president of USA, Barack Obama. Her conversations with Scott Rudin, who is a film and theatrical producer, contained racially charged comments about Barack Obama himself. While other company emails showed that female actors such as Amy Adams and Jennifer Lawrence being underpaid compared to their male counterparts. This painted a very bad picture on Sony for its policies of salaries being biased based on gender. Barack Obama, in response to the attack, imposed political sanctions on North Korea, as investigations revealed similar codes found in attacks by the country on South Korean agencies in the past. Also, he was negatively portrayed in Amy Pascal's emails, comparing him to African Americans being slaves in the past. So Obama was also an indirect victim of this hack. Scripts of movies such as Spectre were also released. This means that the hard work and dedication put in by the screenwriters went in vain. Several unreleased movies such as Annie, Mr. Turner, Still Alice, and To Write Love on Her Arms were also leaked as well. This means marketing agents, theaters, film distributing agencies all lost its scope of earnings, as many downloaded these movies through torrents more than 100,000 times. This is a huge hit on Sony as it lost its revenue market. The social engineering component is an Apple phishing attack. The attackers sent phishing emails to the staff of Sony advising them to log into their Apple accounts. As most of them had Apple products, this wasn't a tough task. Even though you educate them on phishing scams, there are those who fall prey to them. One unfortunate individual didn't only log in to the fake website, but also had the same credentials for his Sony system login too. Once this was acquired, the attack started. So let's look at the attack technique. Once they gained access to the network using the stolen credentials, an SMB worm tool was deployed. We will see what an SMB worm tool is in the next slides. It then connected back to the command control of the attacker to transfer the data wipe off the hard drives and display their message on the machine itself. Now, onto the SMB we talked about earlier. SMB stands for Server Message Block. It's one of the most popular protocols used in network sharing because it's easy. To be more technical, it's a client-server implementation at the application layer and uses file access packets between the server and the client. It's relatively easy to configure and could be used for a variety of purposes. Apart from sharing files, sharing printers and devices were also easy. So you can understand Sony implementing this protocol in their system due to its vast network size. However, the ease of use has its downside too, as the protocol requires little to no authentication or encryption. This is a natural target for the attackers who are looking to move through the system. The SMB worm tool was developed with 5 components, namely the listening port, the lightweight backdoor, proxy tool, destructive hard drive tool, and the destructive target cleaning tool. So let's look at the phases. Phase 1 by the attacker was to use the port 445 of SMB to listen to it using the listening implant. This is done with the help of the stolen credentials. Phase 2 was the deployment of the lightweight backdoor designed as a service DLL. Now, the DLL stands for Dynamic Link Library. You can think of it as a file with some code or some data, which is required by programs to work. So functions such as file transfer, system survey, and process manipulation were encoded within this DLL and implemented. Phase 3 was the use of a proxy tool. Using this proxy tool, a disk wiper Trojan was dropped into the system. At the same time, the information within the Sony systems was sent back to the attacker's command and control system through the IPs included in the module or the DLL we talked about earlier. Phase 4 was the deletion part. The nasty business of the SMB worm tool is that it can delete the data beyond the point of recovery. The final phase was to let the target machines inoperable using the destructive target cleaning tool. Only the image of the skull and the links to several hacked servers were visible. This is what the staff of Sony faced on the 24th November. Mitigation. Corporate companies and even small to medium businesses always have awareness campaigns, sessions, and talks to educate their staff about various types of social engineering attacks. As phishing played an important role here, I would like to elaborate more on mitigating phishing campaigns. How can we reduce it? As I said earlier, educating the company staff, teaching them the characteristics of phishing emails, advising them on self-control, as in to not navigate through the emails themselves. The company can also make sure their software is up to date. Phishing campaigns are getting more authentic each and every day, and simultaneously their defenses too. So install patches, update the software, and look out for any important information about security systems. Also install anti-phishing softwares and keep them updated on a regular basis. Technology is just a tool. It's the human who has to use it properly and effectively, so be vigilant. Having drills of phishing attacks within the company and observing who falls for it plays a huge part in the learning process. Once we identify the victims, we can educate them on a more practical platform and make them understand what went wrong and how to avoid it. So these are a few methods through which we can mitigate the phishing attacks. Data leaks. They started on the 27th of November with 4 torrent links containing unreleased movies. On the 1st of December, 33,880 files of a whopping 26.4 gigabytes containing 47,426 social security numbers was released. By the 3rd of December, more compromising data on server information, internal IP addresses, list of security certificates for service users and services were released. 5th of December saw banking information leaks like wire transfer codes, financial reports, forecasts, and etc. Amy Pascal's entire mailbox was leaked on the 8th of November, along with Steve Moscow's mailbox as well, who was the chairman of Sony Pictures. The leaks continued through the 10th of December with 5 GB of data containing contact information of 2,500 employees, digital certificates, and anti-piracy information. There were more leaks on the 13th and 14th December of internal documents and bulk of emails. As Sony couldn't stop these leaks, they pulled out the movie and the leaks stopped. Sony, in its preliminary reports, mentioned that the hacks has costed around 15 million US dollars for the investigation and the remediation. Various lawsuits were also filed on Sony for neglecting its security weaknesses. In addition, the identity thefts of the 47,000 employees, some including their dependents like spouse, children, parents, entire mailboxes with tens of thousands of emails containing personal and company information were lost. Amy Pascal stepped down, and so did her reputation along with Scott Rudin's. In the quarter, Sony Corporation's stock value decreased to 11.7%. Other data leaks were also losses, which were explained in the previous slides. So the conclusion is that employees and even the general public should be vigilant of phishing campaigns. Losses can be in millions. And always keep the systems updated. Loopholes within the Sony infrastructure was well known before the attack, and still, for the ease of use, the company didn't mind it. Ultimately, it became their doom. Truth comes to light. The best example is the controversial conversations between Amy Pascal and Scott Rudin. Although they had private chats, everything was dumped out into the public in the end. So that's it from me in regards to the Sony Pictures Entertainment hack of 2014. This is a very brief overview of the attack, and I hope you got a basic understanding of the topics discussed. Thank you for listening. Cheers.